great start to 2012-13 for you. Obviously, a lot of basketball to play, but you really continued a good streak out on that Arizona trip, coming right off the holiday with another handful of wins.
Yeah, you never know. They had 2.5 weeks off or so, and we really tried to encourage them to work out and everything. And we came back in pretty good shape. I could tell definitely some of them had done some things. And so we practiced 3 or 4 days and went out there, and then we had 4 games, which was tough. 4 games in 5 days, whenever you're playing is tough. But a couple close games, one at the buzzer, and then one in overtime. And so that's great experience for us to pull those games out and to put ourselves in those situations. And I think that's what you're always trying to do with your non-conference schedule is play tough opponents and try to see all the looks that you think you're going to see in conference.
You look at this off schedule, the holiday, and you talked about noticing they'd worked out. And players sometimes think they can fool you and say, well, yeah, the coach. But it's easy to tell. You get a couple days into practice, you can really tell who spent some time off the couch over the holiday and who spent some time on. But as you said, it looks like this group did a good job of trying to stay active while they were on vacation.
I thought they did. I mean, our first day back we were really good, and then they got a little sore. That's just kind of going to happen. But once we got going after about that 4th day of practice, they were pretty close to where I thought that we might have been when we left. And so, and part of those games out there, we're just trying to play our way back into shape. And we probably subbed a little bit more just so that because we definitely want them to play hard and when they, if they got tired a little quicker. But other than that, it was not that big of a change.
When you make that kind of a road trip, crazy things can go on in big road trips like that. But good news is, as you said, you won an overtime, you won one at a buzzer, you won a couple fairly handily as well, and against good competition. You got to really like the fact they played that well on the road for that amount of time.
Exactly, and it was. I mean, these kids get along. They're good kids, and they get along, and so it was. We had a lot of fun. It was a great trip for us, and of course, as far as playing those games, and you're right as far as the opponents, but I mean, I think they're getting used. They're so used to playing on the road. I mean, we're not going to make a big deal about any of the conference games on the road. That's where we've been, and we've had some success, and we know how to prepare, and so they just kind of did the things that we've been doing.
And some teams play better on the road than others. Some teams really struggle on the road. But as you said, you played some great contests up in Kansas. You played some down at Collin County during that Thanksgiving tournament. A long trip to Arizona. At this point, a trip over to New Mexico Junior College has to seem like just a skip across town.
Yeah, I don't really. I mean, some people put bigger stock in that, and I'm not going to, and I don't, because we are used to it. We know how to prepare. We know what we're going to do. We always kind of stay on the same schedule, and we'll just kind of go about our business.
Well, now welcome to conference play. Boy, you get a heck of a welcome. Midland here on Thursday, Howard on Saturday, and a trip over to Mexico JC on Monday. Nothing like opening on Murderers Row.
Well, we'll see what we're made of. We've been. I've got all the scouting reports done. I'd watched all the videos before Christmas because I knew there wasn't going to be a lot of time in between games and stuff. And so our practices this week we've kind of had in mind. New Mexico and Midland are very similar, and so they've got bigger post players and the things that they run, and Howard's a little bit different, but we focus on those teams a little bit, but then we're also just trying to make sure we do what we do and prepare to do our things as good as we can, and so that's basically what we've done this week.
It's been a very balanced basketball team for you, 2012-13. You carried a lot of guard points last year. And you know what? It's easy to think about having to replace those. But we've talked before. You've replaced them in a lot of different places. Saw Lindsey Lee had double figures off the bench for you the other day. It's got to be really nice to have that versatility. You can score outside, you can score inside, and frankly, you can score midway.
Exactly. I mean, Jasmine Brainerd had a big game out there, and so I mean, it's definitely comforting to know that if one person is struggling, that that doesn't necessarily mean our whole team is going to struggle, because we've got other people that can step up. We've got kids off the bench. I mean, like we've said, we've got probably about 8 kids that very legitimately could score double figures at any point. And so that's good to know, and we just got to find whoever's got the hot hand. We've got to find them shots, and that's kind of the way we played out there, and that's kind of what we've been trending towards, and that's just who we need to be.
A little bigger in the post. We talked about that already with Midland. They're going to be big down underneath the basket. Have you seen a team already you think that's kind of similar to the size they present for you coming in here on Thursday?
I think Hutch is somewhat similar and probably a little more athletic, but yeah. We're probably better when they have more true post players than when our post players are needing to get out on the perimeter and guard. And so we've worked on it, and our post kids have been working hard. Pima was similar to that. They had a 6'5" post player and then about a 6-foot post player. So it was pretty close to what we'll see with Midland. And so that was good practice for us as well.
The good news is you're fairly athletic in the post, but I always come back to a little bit on this forward play. You get some very good help coming back down into the paint from those forwards. And quite frankly, they're not big, but they're extremely athletic. It seems to me like you talk about a Shea Myatt, you talk about a Lindsay Lee, and some of these kids really can do a good job of buckling back down into that paint and helping out.
Exactly. I think that's why, other team size doesn't really intimidate us or things like that, because Shea can guard the post, Lindsay can, Jazz can, Sid can. All four of those can guard the post or guard the wing. And so, that just makes us more balanced and just makes it where we can kind of make some adjustments and do whatever we need to do.
Offensive side of the card, what's some of the keys for this Midland contest coming in on Thursday?
I think one of our strengths is obviously pushing it in transition, and we're just trying to letting our defense create some easy baskets, and that's what Midland tries to do as well. So they really try to get out and get some easy shots as well. So we're going to have to get back and get their transition stopped while we're still trying to push it for us. I think we've just got to not let the jitters or anything of being our conference opener get the best of us, and we've just got to execute. We've worked hard out in Scottsdale, just being good screeners, being good passers, because we think we can find shots, but we've just got to stay with our offense long enough and not bail out. Just stay with it and find those easy shots, and so that's really what we worked hard on this week, and I think that's going to be huge for us on Thursday.
Does it change the way you practice, having a Thursday, Saturday, Monday? I mean, you've played a lot of games consecutively, but this is kind of new ground in the conference, having to play this Saturday game kind of jammed in between things.
Well, that's kind of why I watched all the videos, to know if there was something that we kind of need to work on, specifically for a team. That's kind of why I did that early. But we've just kind of gone with it, and I know, we'll practice some on Saturday, we'll practice some on Sunday. Obviously just kind of go some half-court stuff and prepare for that next opponent. But, by no means are we looking ahead, but we have looked at the overall picture of some things that we need to get better at for all three of the teams. No, we need people to come out. Our students obviously aren't back on campus yet. We don't start classes until Monday, and so we need to, obviously in conference, you got to defend the home court. And so we'd love for anybody to come out that can and give us that support.